want you to celebrate safely and responsibly. If you've been outside at any point in time, I don't have to tell you that it's hot. And I don't have to tell you that we are experiencing some record high temperatures in the city, and therefore the city of Houston has taken several steps to keep everybody cool. The city activated its public health heat emergency plan on June 14th when the Houston area began experiencing excessive heat, and we are providing resources for people to take refuge from the heat. Quite frankly, I was hoping that by now things would have cooled off a little bit, but that has not been the case. So to find the nearest cooling center location or an air-conditioned city facility, people can call 311 for more information. Simple steps we can take to celebrate safely or staying hydrated throughout the day, throughout the weekend, going through July the 4th. And staying in air conditioning places as much as possible, and wearing loose, lightweight, colored clothing and sunscreen when outside. Now as we approach the 4th of July, the Shell's Freedom Over Texas, I want to remind folks that we say celebratory gunfire, but quite frankly, there's nothing to celebrate about this gunfire. It can be dangerous, it can be deadly, and it is illegal. So let me reemphasize again that this gunfire during the July 4th weekend, on July 4th, leading up to it, is illegal in the state of Texas. I'm going to be adding some additional overtime resources to HPD because we really want to crack down on people that just keep ignoring what we are saying. And again, fireworks are not allowed inside the city of Houston. You can't be using them inside the city of Houston. So I want to reemphasize that again, because every single holiday, like Shell Freedom Over Texas or other holidays, it's like you're in a war zone throughout the city of Houston, almost in every neighborhood, including my own. People are just popping fireworks or shooting them off or taking their guns and firing them. And so we just have to crack down on it. And so again, I'm saying to individuals, it is illegal, it is illegal, it is illegal. And I know times are hard, people need your money, but if you want to contribute your money to the municipal court or to some other court system, then you utilize these guns and these fireworks at your own expense. But there will be a hefty fine attached to it. So if you need your money to pay your rent or to keep your air conditioning running, I would prefer you to keep your money to pay your electricity bill than to give your money to some court, because you're going to get cited or you get arrested and you're going to have to get some attorney to get you out. You don't want to do that, okay? And so I am authorizing HPD to utilize more overtime. We'll pay for it in order to crack down on what has become a serious problem. 311 is jammed all throughout these holiday periods with neighbors and others calling in and saying they are popping these fireworks or shooting like crazy, okay? So please, I'm asking you in the nicest way that I know how to put your guns down, to keep the fire, come and watch the show that Susan Christian and others will be putting on. We're spending a whole lot of money. Susan, don't ask me for any more money. We're spending a whole lot of money to put on a fantastic fireworks, professionally done. So please come and do that. Now, having said all of that, we see this dangerous practice every time, and we want to cut down on it. So let me stop, and let me bring up first Assistant Chief Harden to speak from Houston Police Department's perspective, and then he'll be followed by Chief Pena. Chief Harden.
Good afternoon, everybody. And as Mayor Turner said, it feels like every 4th of July and also New Year's Eve, for that matter, we come before you as a police department to beg the community. There's no such thing as celebratory gunfire, as the mayor said. The actual term for it is deadly conduct. Okay, and as he mentioned, it is illegal in the state of Texas. It's a Class A misdemeanor, punishable by 1 year in jail and a $4,000 fine. To his point of keeping your money. And we've all heard, what goes up must come down. And if you think that there's no hazard in firing into the air, you're just absolutely dead wrong. I feel like after every 4th of July or New Year's Eve, we find ourselves asking for people's prayers for someone who's been hit by this, and oftentimes it's a child, right? And that's on us, okay? It's on us as a community to keep that in mind. And so, again, it's against the law. There's no reason for it. And we will have extra patrols out there, both that you can see and that you cannot see. We do make arrests for this every year, and we're doing everything we can to prevent it. But it's on us as a community. It's on you to keep that in mind. And we just need to change the tone of it. It's not celebratory gunfire. It's in fact deadly conduct, and we need to look at it as such. As well, so we have also to consider with your holiday plans, right? Don't drink and drive. Okay, we have a huge issue every year with our holidays of multiple DWI arrests and DWI accidents, and that's also incumbent upon us to celebrate responsibly. Use Uber, use rideshare, whatever you need to do. But we're in control of that, and we need to keep that in mind. So we ask you to. So again, we thank you for the overtime funds for having our units out there. Oh, and also, Councilmember Kamen's office has purchased gun safes, right? So we will be distributing those gun safes at Freedom Over Texas this weekend, or I'm sorry, on Tuesday at 4th of July. These gun safes are designed for people to secure their guns inside of vehicles. We do have an issue everywhere in the country and also in Houston of people getting their firearms stolen out of vehicles. So that is a purchase that we're grateful for, a program that we're happy to be partners with to distribute these gun safes to our citizens so we can prevent more vehicles being broken into and firearms being taken. With that, I will turn over back to Chief Pena for your fireworks and everything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mayor. Well, if the message hasn't been made clear, we want to welcome everybody to the Freedom Over Texas event this 4th of July. We'd rather you attend those than set off your own fireworks. And speaking of that, as we look to the 4th of July, I want to briefly just mention some of the dangers and risks that are associated with the improper use of illegal fireworks. As a reminder, as the Mayor mentioned, it is illegal to set off fireworks in the city of Houston. We will have enforcement in partnership with the Houston Police Department in preparation for the holiday. The fee is between $500 to $2,000 per firework if you're caught setting those things off within the jurisdiction of the city of Houston. And as we prepare for the 4th of July, fire crews are also preparing for an increase in fires and medical emergencies as a result of the improper use of these fireworks. A moment of fun can quickly turn into a moment of injury, lives or properties lost. Every year we get thousands of people in the emergency rooms across the country as a result of improper use of fireworks. And with the dry and high temperatures that we're experiencing leading up to the 4th, the fire danger in your homes is also increasing. Again, every year, over 20,000 fire calls across the country are responded to by fire crews as a result of these fireworks. It has been dry, it has been hot, the conditions are ripe for a fire to start quickly. So please, don't be part of these statistics. We'd rather you attend some of these professional displays for fireworks than to take the risk of injury or worse in case of these fireworks. Also a reminder is that the greater Houston area is home to nearly 300,000 veterans here in the city of Houston. The smell and the sounds of fireworks a lot of times can remind some veterans of the sounds and smells of gunfire, and that can lead to inducing panic. So we ask you to be considerate. We ask you to be safe. We ask you to have a great 4th of July, but to do it responsibly and to do it safely. And one last thing, Mayor, before I turn it over to somebody who can tell you what you can do this 4th of July. The temperatures are going to continue to be hot. Remember to stay hydrated. Limit your activities to early mornings. Do not have strenuous activities in the midday and late afternoons. The best thing you can do to prevent dehydration is to continuously drink fluids. Remember that by the time you feel thirsty, you're already at a disadvantage and starting to dehydrate. So please be responsible And most importantly, I want to wish everybody a happy and safe 4th of July. Thank you.
Thank you both. And one thing I want to add to that about this deadly gunfire and the use of fireworks, your pets don't like it, okay? So it's not just humans that are impacted, but quite frankly, our pets simply do not like the deadly gunfire and the fireworks. So please be mindful of that. And that's why this year, and particularly, we want to crack down. And following on what Chief Pena said, we told you what you shouldn't do and can't do. And now let's tell you what you can do. Because if you're like me, you know I love a good show and love the fireworks. And we try each year to make it better, bigger, and better. And this year we have the 2023 Shell Freedom Over Texas 4th of July celebration, and ways that we're working to keep Houstonians safe as they celebrate. And this year promises to be even better, and to tell you all about what we have to offer for this Shell Freedom Over Texas 2023 celebration is none other than the national renowned special event director, and that is Susan Christian.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it is true. You know, we want everyone to come out and celebrate July 4th, America's birthday, at Shell's Freedom Over Texas. And Mayor, you're right. It is going to be bigger and better. In fact, we have the longest fireworks show, 19 minutes, a little over 19 minutes than we've ever had in the history of Houston fireworks shows. And that's because you said make it bigger and better. And so, listen, we have 4 entertainment stages. We have the Dick's Sporting Goods All-American Kids Zone, the Dr. Pepper Zone. We have NASA out with all of our military branches and the assets that they bring. It's a great time to thank those veterans there at July 4th. It's a great time to thank active personnel for what they do every day to keep our country safe. But also we have the Bud Light Bio Bash. We have the Bud Light Backyard. We have an incredible show, something for everyone, incredible diverse set of music. We have Chris Young, who is our featured artist, great country music, one of my favorite new artists, at least new to me, Yola. If you haven't heard her, look her up right now. You're not going to want to miss her. We have the Maze Factor, TMF. The new lead singer for Maze is a Houston boy and man now who is actually renowned, yes, Chris Walker, renowned with his travels through Europe. So we're so happy to help introduce him to this new band that he's with. We have great local entertainment, great regional entertainment, but to really point out what we're talking about in this press conference, we've got one of the finest fireworks producers in the world, Pyrotechnico. And so you want fireworks, come out to a professionally run fireworks show and watch a really great show. You know, fireworks are not only for all the reasons that you've mentioned, but they can be very harmful to you as well. I know because I took a black cat when I was in junior high, and because we celebrate, you know, just like anyone else does in small towns, and I blew off my boyfriend's ring off of my finger, and that was the end of him. But that is a true statement. It didn't take my ring finger off, it just took the ring off. It's a true story. So anyway, no, you know, being safe is truly no joke, but that's why we celebrate in the manner that we do right at Shell Freedom Over Texas. We also want to be mindful. The mayor mentioned be ready. The chief mentioned be ready. Hydrate, and then when you think you've hydrated enough, drink some more water. We do have free water on site, both inside and outside the gates, so when you're standing in line to get in, we have water. We have free water inside. Of course, we have a full shelves of beverages that you can purchase and food of all different cultures that show off Houston food. And then also be sure and wear a hat, wear your sunglasses, wear tennis shoes. Dress like you know how to dress. Come to celebrate like you know how to celebrate. And really, there's no one that does it better than Houston. A few things that we don't want you to bring in. We don't want you to bring in food and beverages unless they're there for your babies or some other special need. We want you not to bring your pets. We plan a great event, but not for the animals. It's just too hot for them. We've also added a lot of shade, a lot more shade, because it's always hot in July, but it seems to be a little hotter this year. But we added more shade, more misting tents, and we just want you to be safe, but help to be safe by preparing your family now. Come out. If you haven't started this and made this your tradition at Shell Freedom Over Texas, do so now. There is something for everyone. It costs $10 to get in. Children 5 and under get in free. We start at 4 o'clock, Mayor, and the fireworks go off at 9:35. Watch your clock, and then the whole thing will be over at 10 o'clock. Come out and celebrate with us. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. And as Chief Harden said, I know Councilmember Matt Buchanan is helping to provide these gun locks, so they will be distributed on Tuesday. So I really want to lift that up and the importance of it. And then, Susan, I was listening to you intently. You got rid of the ring on your boyfriend's finger. You didn't get rid of the boyfriend. I did. Well, that's a little bit too much information for the press conference. We'll pick that up later. All right. Having said all of that, are there any questions for anybody as it relates to Freedom Over Texas, deadly gunfire, or fireworks? Any questions on that to anyone? Everybody good? Okay, then we will see you on Tuesday. Shell's Freedom Over Texas. It will be the only July 4th celebration aired throughout the country. No other station is going to be carried in the whole country, just ours. All right, thank you all so very much. And then I'm gonna let these individuals go, and then we'll pick up if anybody questions on other subject matters. Okay. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. Yes, sir. On the affirmative action ruling, the question pertains to the United States Supreme Court ruling affirmative action, I guess, unconstitutional. Let me just start by saying highly disappointed. Very, very disappointed. This was a court case that was brought, one school in particular. They were challenging Harvard's admissions process. As you all know, I am a product of Harvard Law School. And I was one, I guess you can say, came through. Affirmative action was in place, product. It doesn't mean that students that come in under affirmative action are any less smart than anyone else. And quite frankly, students that come in are able to compete, able to do well, and able to go on and succeed. And I'm one of them. To say now, when this country, where there is still discrimination in place in this country, where there is still a need for students like me and others to go to these institutions, to be a part of these institutions, to graduate from these institutions, and then to move on and to be productive citizens, and then to cut that off as if we have reached utopia in this country is simply naive and ignores the realities that exist within our country. And it's also happening at a time when state legislatures throughout the United States are eliminating DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, even in higher ed. And that has happened specifically right here in the state of Texas, Senate Bill 17, that passed in this previous legislative session, that is said to colleges like University of Houston, University of Texas, A&M, that you cannot have diversity, equity, and inclusion policies at your colleges and universities. So when you couple the United States Supreme Court decision eliminating affirmative action in higher ed, and I venture it will go even beyond that, that flies in the face of reality. So very disappointed. But one thing I do know is that, like the city of Houston and other cities throughout this country and states, this country is becoming more and more diversified. So notwithstanding the ruling of the United States Supreme Court or legislatures like the state of Texas on eliminating DEI, you cannot undo the diversification that's taking place in America. It is happening regardless, but it is disappointing, and it's important for businesses and companies and people and quite frankly, people of all political persuasions to stand up and speak against the ruling that took place today. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, we're expecting an update in the Astroworld case. Just wanted to get an update from you on the progress that the city and county task force made when it comes to reviewing and revising safety measures, local safety measures when it comes to large events.
And the city of Houston and Harris County, we have worked effectively to come up with an understanding of who has the responsibility to do what. So that task force, that work is complete. There's a good understanding of who is responsible in permitting, who's responsible in checking the safety protocols, and working with these various entities that want to put on these big events, for example, even at NRG. That collaboration has already occurred and will continue to occur. But the process has been streamlined, and then there's a better understanding of who's responsible for what.
Can you tell us a little more about what kind of changes and streamlining you have seen so far, and if the city is planning to revise the safety measures when it comes to outdoor events on public properties?
Well, that has already been done. In fact, Susan Christian, who was here, represented and chaired the city's task force, and as well as Chief Pena. Chief Pena, you want to comment on that? Because I don't have the particular details in front of me.
I want you to take a look at this as well. Would you repeat the question, please?
Sure.
Oh.
What was the role of the city in the incident? And in light of those findings, are we going to make any changes to local safety measures when it comes to large events on public property?
So absolutely. So the incident that you're talking about is the jurisdiction in there was unique in that it's a county facility, but it existed within the city of Houston's jurisdiction. There were some unaddressed work flows that existed before this incident happened. As the mayor mentioned, since then, we've identified the need for the emergency response agencies, primarily Houston Police and Houston Fire, to participate in the development of the event safety plan for events of over 6,000 people or more, right? So we will be participating from the onset in the development of those plans. In addition to that, the requirement to have a unified command post on site, staffed with identified individuals, is also part of the agreement that we have with the county, Harris County, for that jurisdiction. That's just for that particular area. Public buildings or public events, as the mayor mentioned, Chapter 25, that has been revised. We've incorporated requirements for PD and fire to participate in the development of certain plans, and place timelines on when permits have to be submitted and plans have to be submitted so we can properly evaluate the risk and identify the needs to address those events.
Thank you. Just a clarification, wasn't it Chapter 25 revision, the ordinance?
That's the ordinance, yes. That's the ordinance for the outdoor events.
On private property, right?
Correct. That's so you got private property and you got public property. The private property those are the bars that may have extend their operation into the parking lots or those types of scenarios. But we also have ordinances that have come forth and are implemented now to address those issues.
So we implemented changes regarding private property, but not public property.
And the changes apply both to public and private in terms of the task force work and the collaboration between the city and the county. Because again, the actual world event took place at NRG County facility, but within the city of Houston. So we wanted to clarify the respective roles of each in these events before they occurred, leading up to their occurrence. We wanted to make sure that we have all of the necessary resources out there when these events are occurring, and we wanted to clarify who has the responsibility of shutting down events if we see any danger signs. We've worked through all of that, so I'm much more comfortable now as we move forward with big events. I know that there's going to be another press conference scheduled at 4 o'clock today with Kim and other law enforcement entities as it relates to that Astro World event. That's today at 4. Well, hold on. Let me go here and I'll come back.
Do you expect the heat advisory to be extended? If so, for how long?
I think, look, I thought on June 14th it was probably going to be around for a few days, and now this is what, June the, what's the date? The 29th, and it's still here. Based on what I am hearing and being told, I think things should get a little bit better as we get into, let's say, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and there's, a greater chance of rain. So I think it will be a little bit better. But, look, this is Houston, this is Texas. It's going to be hot. So whether we're dealing with 97 degrees or whether you're dealing with 102, hot is hot. And then, of course, when you combine that with the humidity. So with that being said, it's important that we all take the necessary precautions, be mindful of not leaving anybody in your car, including pets, and then be mindful when we come out to celebrate the 4th of July celebrations that we come prepared. But it may get a little warmer, but quite frankly, that's relative. It's going to be hot. Okay? I'll get everybody. Dominique, did I get you? Dominique, did I get her? Okay. Thank you all so very. Wait, I'm sorry.
Back to Travis Scott. What do you think about the grand jury possible charges against Travis Scott?
Well, I don't want to get ahead of the press conference at 4. But at 4, and I'll allow the DA and they are much more intimately familiar with it than I am. But that press conference will be at 4. Okay? Yes, sir. Got you? Cool. Got everybody? All right. Thank you. Appreciate you all coming and covering this event. Okay? Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
All right, Mayor. Yes, sir.